Most of us take our kids to schools just for academics progress only. Now, there are many things that happen in school. Remember that a school is usually the first socialization agent of our kids. By this I mean that most of the time our kids are usually in school. So there's so much that the school does in helping to nurture these kids into awesome citizens, into awesome adults. When a child comes to school, mostly at the age of 4, 3 or 5, there's so much that they pick from the school, and it affects even their growth when they become adults. I'll like to point out a case scenario of a kid that joins school when they are 4 years. And now these are two kids that we're trying to look at. One of the kid, the parent is usually involved in his or her daily activities at school. The parent is usually in contact with the teacher. But this other one, the parent took the kid to school and forgo everything else, and they keep on reminding the kid that I'm paying school fees for you to do this, for you to do that. Now you see, one of the kids will have so much things happening to them, and because of the parent not being in constant association with the teacher, there's so much things that they end up losing. But take a picture of this kid that the parent is usually in talk with the teacher, trying to confirm everything that is happening at school. Therefore, find that this kid will have a very interesting life, because the teacher and the parent are already collaborating for them to achieve an awesome individual. So therefore, as parents, we should understand that the school plays a very big role, apart from academics, apart from matters, books, and whatever. The school has another bigger role of making sure that these kids come up to be awesome citizens. And when a parent and a teacher collaborate for the sake of the kid, there's so much that the teacher gets to know about the kid. And if they're in good partnership, the parent is able to tap from the teacher's knowledge about the kid, because this kid spends most of the time in school, 5 days in a week, very many days, about 20 days in a month, 90 days in a term. So this kid is able to showcase his character, his abilities, even his anger management skills, self-control, self-esteem. So the teacher knows so much about the child, and any parent that is able to tap into the space of the teacher and the learner, then they end up being very, very knowledgeable about their kids, and they get to understand them even better. And this will even lead to doing away with some of the conflicts at home, because now the teacher understands the learner, the teacher shares what they know about the learner to the parent, and you'll hear the parent telling the teacher that, this one is true, I observed this one, and this one, please teacher, help me navigate this. So when the parent also is involved in the up and down and daily activities of the kid also knows that from home there's accountability, from school there's accountability. Anything I do at home, mommy or daddy will report to teacher. Anything I do at school, the teacher will also report the same at home. Therefore, this kid grows up knowing that there is so little that they can do in terms of misbehaving that won't be reported. This helps the kid to understand who they are. This helps the kid to grow up understanding that their life, there are people that are involved. And one of the key aspects that makes these kids successful is when they start realizing that there's somebody who cares. Because when a teacher goes an extra mile even to foresee, to try and intervene in matters academic, matters behavior, matters social life of the kid, then this kid grows up knowing that, my teacher is not just the normal good morning, good afternoon, good evening teacher, but this teacher is somebody that even is able to walk with me the path. And as I talk about this, I'm also a product of a parent who was involved, of a parent who worked with each of my teachers at my individual levels. And I'm very happy when at some point I meet my teachers, and I usually tell my parents that they did well, because being involved in my daily academic progress, in my daily behavioral change, in my daily psychological aspects of life, they played a very vital role in making sure that I am the person that I am today. And as I majored into this field of education, I took it upon myself to make sure that at least in each class that I step in, I will not just come there and present the normal academics and talk about the curriculum and impact the academic forces or academic aspect to the kids. No, I took it upon myself to make sure that at least each kid, I'm able to help them grow academically, grow behaviorally, and even their social space, I'm able to tap in between and make them understand that there's somebody who cares and there's somebody who is partnering with the mommy or with the daddy to make sure that they become awesome children. And this has led to most of the success I've witnessed in these 13 years of teaching. For the last 13 years I've been teaching, I've been met learners who have confessed, hey, teacher, truly there's something that you did that wasn't part of what we were supposed to do. There's something that you did to me that was amazing, and I'm proud. I've even received calls from my former pupils, calls from my former parents saying that, teacher, we appreciate some things that you did to our learners, because being a teacher makes you a very different person. Being a teacher makes you a judge, makes you a lawyer, makes you a medic, because these learners will do things, and in your space you also become a counseling psychologist. You also become somebody who is there to offer counseling to them, because kids come with very many issues. Some of them, at a glance, you might assume that these are just childish issues, but to them, in their world, those issues they present to you as a teacher, they are the most important issues, and they have so much weight to them as kids. Therefore, when I'm in class or when I'm interacting with kids, I actually try my best to level myself to their, ground myself to their level, then try and understand things from their perspective. Try and see things with their eyes rather than my adult eyes. And this one helps me to understand that, even if the kid comes and says, teacher, this one has done to me, nye 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 bubu, or he has made faces at me, I'm able to understand the psychological and emotional attachment these kids had to that behavior. And I've seen this helping more so the parents that are stepping in the space and saying that, teacher, please help us to navigate this. Teacher, help us to move with our kids as we progress life. Because imagine a teacher has so much information that they know about your kid, but if the parent is not receptive enough to come in and talk to the teacher, then the teacher sits at a glance and observes the kid from afar. And most of the time the teachers are not even sure how the parent will react when they hear some things, matters behavior of their kids. So it's just a good approach of life for the sake of the little ones that we have. As teachers, as parents, we try and tap in their space. Get to understand what they do at school, understand their type of friends, understand their behavior when at home, their behavior when at school. Ask the teachers, open up your mind and tell the teacher, teacher, please just tell me the truth about my kid, because the more we camouflage issues, the more we sugarcoat issues, we'll never get to understand the truth about our kids. So this should be a wake-up call to most of us, I included as a parent, that there's so much that we need to do to make sure that we get to understand our children. And we are doing all this for the benefit of them in future and to see them grow into awesome beings, because the way I've stated that, there's so much that the teacher knows. There's so much that the teacher has seen in these kids. Most of the kids that have done well, even if you check in your circle, there's a teacher that impacted it. There was a parent that was behind the success of these kids. Therefore, we need to open up a conversation and make it a daily, if possible, a daily will from the parents and the teachers to try and see what is happening to our kids, try and see what is happening to them at school, because there are some things that the school will offer the kid, but it's limited. And there's some things that the kids will do at school that as a parent in the home, you will never see. A teacher will tell you that your kid is very talented in soccer, swimming, basketball or tennis. But as a parent, if you have not gone a step higher and tried to source for an academy for this kid, try to source for a place they can be practicing during their free time, you won't understand what the teacher is talking about. A teacher will talk about the behavior of a kid in class, in school, the self-esteem of this kid at school. But if the parent is not in the space to understand that now this is not something that the teacher is doing to demoralize my kid, this is something that the teacher has noted that we should work in collaboration to make sure that this kid does better. So any parent that is able to see over this and work with the teacher, they end up having a very awesome child. So as parents, it's time we step up. Let's try and observe things from home, inform the teachers. Let us try and see what the teachers have to say about our kids. And this will bring forth a very nice kid. Because the essence of school is not about academic only. The essence of the school is not about books and mathematics and languages and sciences and all those arithmetic and whatever. No. The school is a social agent. It's a socializing agent to our kids. And most of the behaviors they get from the school, most of the behaviors they get from the class, most of the things they see at school, they'll end up imitating, copying and pasting them in their daily lives. So we need to understand that the school plays a bigger role than just the normal mathematics that we assume, the normal science, the normal English, the normal things that we assume in school. So this is just a wake-up call to remind each and every parent that we need to up our game and make sure that we do our best in terms of getting to know our kids via the teacher's opinion, via the school's opinion. And when you get something that is negative, try and look for a way to work it out and iron it, instead of seeing that this teacher is against my child, this teacher is against the progress of my boy or girl. Let us work with the teachers to see the awesomeness of these learners that we have.